In this video, let's look at how to configure a particular virtual machine. In order to configure the virtual machine, it is essential you need to select the virtual machine and click here on the settings. I had already clicked on the settings, and so the configuration dialog box has appeared here. Here in the first tab, General tab, you have the option wherein you can alter the name you have given to the virtual machine. You can again change the operating system you wanted to install, whether it would be 32-bit or 64-bit. All these things you would have selected when you had created the new virtual machine. Assuming here I am doing it for a command line server, I need to just choose the name and the type of operating system. Otherwise, in the Advanced tab, you have the option here to select a shared clipboard, drag and drop options, which are more popular with the desktop machines. Please note, this facility would require guest additions to be added along with your virtual machine when you install the operating system. Rest of the things are not really very important here. Let's come to the System tab, which is very important, where you have the option to increase or reduce the RAM that you have allocated to that virtual machine. In the second part, you can choose the boot order. Usually, the default is floppy followed by optical followed by the hard disk. Most of us we install the operating system in the hard disk so that the booting can start from the hard disk. But if there is no floppy, if there is no optical drive, the CD drive in that virtual machine, they'll be ignored and automatically the hard disk will be chosen. You can also change their order by clicking on these links. There are other options which selectively can be used with respect to certain virtual machines with regards to pointing device and other things. Second part, where you can choose the CPU that you are allocating it. Certain applications require their virtual machines to be having at least two virtual CPUs. So in that case, you can choose. Note the maximum limit to which you can go. This is where you will going to specify any CD storage. The storage space here is already selected at the time when you have created the virtual machine. This is the default primary storage in which the virtual machine will going to install its operating system. But if required, you can add additional disks, either the hard disk or the optical disk. You can click here and you can choose the disk you wanted to install. Often for the purpose of installing the operating system, we choose the CD. For example, in this case, if I want to choose or if I want to install Ubuntu 18.04, I have to click here to add the optical drive, and either if you have done before, it would have been already populated here. Otherwise, you can click on add, which will take you to the browser window in which you can choose an appropriate ISO file and you can click on open. In which case you can see here that it is automatically selected. And then you can click on choose, or you can choose any other ISO and click on choose. So it appears here. Please note that since we have inserted the CD, next time especially when you are installing the operating system, here this boot order will help. I just had inserted a CD, so in the boot order, since there is no floppy, it will start booting from that CD, with which it will help you to install the operating system. That is the reason why we need to insert the CD here, the ISO CD for OS installation, the operating system installation. Also note that once the installation is completed, you may require to remove this. To remove this CD, you can click on the CD, and here at the bottom, you have a facility where you can remove the disk. If I click on this, it will remove the selected attachment. Third part of it, which will be of interest to you, is this network part, wherein you can choose different network adapters. Most of us in the beginning, we choose here a host only adapter. This will automatically select a virtual network card associated with your host machine. This would allow access only for the Windows or any other host machine to connect to this guest machine. Preferably, you can choose this promiscuous mode to allow all. Alternately, you have other options here. You can also select additional up to 4 adapters. If you enable this, apart from host only adapter, you also have the NAT adapter. Most of the time, if you want internet connectivity for your virtual machine, if you want your virtual machine to ping the host gateway so that it can get internet access, we choose this NAT adapter. Like host only adapter would allow connectivity from the host machine to this guest machine, either for ping or SSH purpose. Similarly, this would allow internet connectivity into the guest machine. You may choose, you may also choose here the bridged adapter, which is another popular option. If you choose bridged adapter, the advantage is it bridges your virtual machine either to the wired network which is available on your host machine, or to the wireless adapter available on your host machine. Normally, whichever one you are presently using, either the wired Ethernet or the wireless that you are using on your host machine, the virtual machine connectivity here automatically selects it. Here also you can choose this promiscuous mode to be allow all. The main advantage with the bridge adapter is this will allow host machine to connect to the guest machine through SSH. At the same time, the same will also going to provide you internet connectivity from the host machine. But be aware that when you choose the bridge adapter, by default automatically your virtual machine will also capture an IP address from the router or from the network to which your host is connected. In total, from the network connected to your host machine, like your host machine will get an IP address, your virtual machine will also get an IP address. So the network that is connected to your host machine should support availability of these multiple IP addresses for your machine. These are some of the popular configurations that we do apart from the other facilities which are available here.